What's going on, Alabama football fans? Chris Daughtery here with the Alabama Football Report. Appreciate you guys joining us for today's show. We're going to be breaking down some matchups to watch for this Alabama versus South Carolina game. But before we get into that, I want to ask you guys, just go ahead and drop a like on today's video. If you want the Crimson Tide to dominate on Saturday and just kind of, erase what happened last weekend and move forward. Make sure you like today's video for me right now. Should be the first thing you do every single time you watch a video here. So if you guys want Alabama to go out there and dominate South Carolina, like today's video for me right now. Matchup to watch number one. It's going to be Deontae Lawson versus running back Raheim Sanders for South Carolina. Look, Alabama has had some trouble when it comes to guys coming out of the backfield and everything like that. So this is definitely going to be one thing that definitely needs to, improve for Alabama, especially with those linebackers. I think the coverage, from the linebackers has really struggled so far this year. So, if Raheim Sanders comes, out of the backfield as a receiver, especially like on third down or something like that, I definitely want to see Deontae Lawson step up a little bit. And we heard this week, Malachi Moore talked about the fact that Alabama's defense really struggled last week with, the speed of getting the play calls in from Kane Womack. Deontae Lawson is the guy that calls all those plays for Alabama, gets everybody set up. So it would go a long way if they can really get those play calls in a little bit sooner and help those defensive guys out a little bit. And like I mentioned, Deontae Lawson, I really like him as a player. He's a great middle linebacker. He's number 2 on the team in tackles right now, but he has really struggled in coverage so far this year. And, it was something that last year, he really struggled with as well. And coming into this year, we talked about the fact that he needed to, improve on that, and really hasn't done a great job of it. 9.7 yards per reception allowed, 2 touchdowns charged to Deontae Lawson per those PFF stats. So, look, man, on third downs, on, if there's any kind of fourth downs or anything like that, he's going to have to be really sticky on those running backs coming out of the backfield, because Raheim Sanders, he isn't the biggest guy when it comes to receptions and, catches and stuff like that. But, look, I mean, South Carolina definitely saw the film last week that Vanderbilt put up, and they're definitely going to try to utilize and, take advantage of some of those matchups. So I want to hear from you guys in the comments section. Obviously, Alabama's defense last week did not play very well. Really, for the past 6 quarters, they haven't played very well. So, hopefully that's going to be a very big emphasis this week. So let me know at the pinned comment today, do you think Alabama's defense will bounce back this Saturday? Type Y for yes or type N for no. Like I said, it is the pinned comments. That ad probably going to come here on YouTube. That's totally fine. Go down there, take advantage of it, and let me know what you guys think. Matchup to watch number 2 here. It's going to be Elijah Pritchett versus the true freshman edge rusher for South Carolina, Dylan Stewart. Look, man, this kid, as a true freshman, he has been really, really fun to watch so far this year. I mean, only 12 tackles on the season, but the disruptiveness that he is able to bring for South Carolina's defensive front has been, really, really phenomenal for them. 14 pressures, 3.5 sacks so far this year. So, Elijah Pritchett is really going to have his work cut out for him. I know he's a true freshman, but look, man, he's really, really talented. And Elijah Pritchett has been okay so far this season for you, but I don't think he's been, like phenomenal or anything like that. He's still struggling a little bit. Definitely better than, what we saw from him last year, but he's allowed 10 pressures so far this year. He got really burnt in that game against Vanderbilt, which made, Jalen Milroe get sacked, caused a fumble and everything like that. And really, that was one of the last opportunities for Alabama to really go down the field and, take the lead against Vanderbilt in that game. So I really need Elijah Pritchett to step up. I need him to play one of his best games of the season so far because, there was that battle at the beginning of the season between him and Wilkin Formby. Obviously, Elijah Pritchett is the better tackle in that situation. So I really need him to, go out there and perform like it. I want to give a shout out to our sponsor today. That is Game Time. Guys, Game Time has a new feature now that I absolutely love called Game Time Picks that makes getting tickets to see your favorite teams play live even easier. Game Time Picks filters out all the fluff to show you only the incredible deals on great seats so you don't have to waste time searching through thousands of tickets. Game Time Picks is just curation. It makes it easier to save more on sports, concerts, comedy, theater, and so much more. And guess what? Prices on the Game Time app, they actually go down the closer you get to the start of the event. So if you're just in T-Town to hang out on Saturday and last minute you decide, hey, I think I want to go inside, I want to go to the game, you can get those tickets last minute on Game Time. If you find tickets in the same section or row for less, Game Time will credit you 110% of the difference. They've also got seat views. You can get a panoramic view from your seat in the app before you buy, so you're not blocked out and you really know what that view looks like from your seat. Take the guesswork out of buying tickets with Game Time. Download the Game Time app today, create an account, redeem promo code CHATSPORTS for $20 off your first purchase. Check out GameTime.co for last-minute tickets. Terms do apply, but again, create an account and redeem promo code CHATSPORTS for $20 off your first purchase. That link will be in the comment section and the description of today's video. Download Game Time today, because what time is it? It's game time. Matchup to watch number 3 here. It's going to be Alabama's DBs versus South Carolina's wide receivers. I know I kind of cheated. It wasn't, straight up player to player there, but man, Alabama's defense, the past couple of quarters have just not looked very good. The first 3-4 games of the season, there was a lot of times where you saw a guy like Xavier Brown get beat on a play, but the quarterbacks weren't really able to take advantage of it. You saw that in the South Florida game. Really, you saw it in the Wisconsin game too, and then you really saw it in that game against Vanderbilt. Diego Pavia was, hitting all of his wide receivers, in stride and letting them make plays. So I really need these guys to step up. Deontae Jackson really, had a down game last week as well. Malachi Moore, Keon Sabb. These guys, they're supposed to be your leaders at the back end in that defensive back room. So really need them to step up. And, Keon Sabb hasn't, really done anything since he got those first 2 interceptions in the first game of the season. So, I mean, these guys have got to play a lot better because South Carolina does have some talent at wide receiver. Mazeo Bennett Jr., one of their best wide receivers, 14 receptions this year for 200 yards, a couple touchdowns. Our very own Tom Downey here, he really loves Jared Brown. In South Carolina last week, they did take the L, pretty bad against Ole Miss. I think they only scored 3 points in that game, but they really started to get Jared Brown going in that game. So he is another guy. I know he is, number 4 on their leading wide receivers so far this season, but if they can really get him going, that could help out their wide receiver core a lot in this game. So let me know again in the comments, guys. Get down there, scale your confidence level in Alabama's defensive backfield. Scale it for me 1 to 10, 1 on the low end, 10 on the high end. 1, you don't trust them at all. The South Carolina, Lenora Sellers is going to go out there and throw for 400 yards. Or 10, they're going to shut them down, and they're going to look like the best secondary in the country. Not really. For me, I'm not really on either end there. I'm kind of somewhere in the middle. I'm probably like a 5 right now, honestly. But let me know what you guys think in the comments section right now. Matchup to watch number 4. It's going to be DeVonta Smith at that Husky position versus Joshua Simon. He's going to be a tight end for South Carolina, and really, he is their number 2 leading receiver on this team. And so really, DeVonta Smith is going to have to go out there and just be really sticky on him in coverage because, tight ends can be a real threat at the end of the day for any offense, especially on third downs. Saw last week, there were multiple times where Vanderbilt went to the tight end on those 3rd and 7, 3rd and 8s. And Alabama actually was able to, kind of make the stop and wrap him up about 3 yards short. But because he is a tight end, he is a bigger player, goes out there and gets that extra 3 yards to get the first down and extend those drives for Vanderbilt last year. So Joshua Simon, he's a really good player for him, 120 yards so far this season on 11 catches. So that is definitely going to, be a player that Alabama is definitely going to have to limit in this game, because on those third downs, like I said, that's one of the big keys to victory for Alabama this week, is getting off the field on third downs. And I think if DeVonta Smith, if he gets matched up in, some of these tight end matchups, he's definitely going to have to take advantage of those matchups and get the guy on the ground. If you're there short of the line to gain, gonna have to get him down. Alabama did a poor job tackling as well in that game last week. And our last matchup to watch in this game for Alabama versus South Carolina, it's going to be the pass rush for Alabama versus those South Carolina tackles. Because, guys, look, they have not been very good at all so far this season. Between the two, Cason Henry and Josiah Thompson, 28 total combined quarterback pressures so far. These guys have not had a very good season. And look, I really love what Quandarius Robinson and Quay Russaw have been able to do for Alabama when it comes to that pass rush. LT Overton started the season off hot and is kind of regressed from that the past couple of weeks. So I think Alabama really needs to get some pressure on Lenoris Sellers in this game, because look, he throws some interceptions. So and another thing too, they're going to have to contain him as well. So it's not just getting that pass rush and getting him on the ground, but it's also containing him, because he's a guy that can also run. I think he has like 200 yards rushing so far this season. And we all know how Alabama has been in the past, those, dual threat quarterbacks being able to torch Alabama. So they're going to have to get the pass rush, and they're also going to have to contain. And I think Alabama has a really good shot of taking advantage of South Carolina's tackles in this game.